Sleep is the most underrated kind of magic in our lives. It's not just a way to rest. It's like a reset button we keep forgetting to press. Even though our body, it never forgets. It asks. It whispers, "Give me time to patch myself up." But we don't seem to hear it. We just keep running, not noticing how our energy slips through our fingers like water through a sieve. I've noticed this over and over. When you don't get sleep, everything else just falls apart. It's like trying to build a house on water. You can skip meditation, workouts, even eating right. You can do absolutely nothing. But if you don't sleep, all of it becomes pointless, because sleep is what gives you that real deep energy. Without it, you can't really think, and you can't really feel. But here's the paradox. Everyone talks about how many hours we sleep, but hardly anyone talks about when we fall asleep. And that's the key. Not the memory foam pillow, not the fitness tracker, not coconut milk before bed. It's the moment you let yourself release the day and fall into silence. I've heard so many of those go to sleep by 11 tips, like there's some golden rule. But honestly, I don't know a single person who wouldn't benefit from falling asleep before 10. I even have this kind of weird dream. I really want to live until I'm 110. Not just survive, but truly live, feel, enjoy, be active and full of energy. And I've known this for a while now, without sleep, real, deep sleep. That dream will stay just that, a dream. Because after 20 years of paying attention to sleep, mine and other people's, I've come to believe if you want to stay truly alive, curious, energized, with a body that listens and a soul that feels, there's no way around sleep. Sleep is the foundation. Everything else comes after. Success, learning, career, happiness, beauty, intelligence. If you don't sleep, it all crumbles. Because you're not just a soul, you're a body too. And as strange as it sounds, it gets tired. Honestly, if there's one thing you could do that would definitely change your life for the better, start with this. Going to bed before 10 isn't about discipline. It's not about pushing yourself. It's like saying to yourself, I matter, I'm important to me. And when you wake up in the morning, not because you have to, but because you've actually rested, it feels like a little miracle. Your body thanks you. Your mood is warm inside. Your mind is clear. It's like the world makes sense again. You smile at it, and it smiles back. I'm sure you felt that at least once. Probably more than once, right? Tell me about it in the comments. And what about waking up? That's where this sacred battle begins between early birds and night owls. But honestly, I'm starting to think that's just another myth. We like to believe we're unique, that our rhythms are different. But the truth is, we're biological beings, not programs, not algorithms. So much of our body is wired to nature, to light, to the sun. And no matter how much we try to live by modern schedules, our body is still, on a deep level, living by sunrise and sunset, hormones, metabolism, moods. All of it is closely tied to how and when you fall asleep. And the most magical healing processes, the ones that really reboot your internal systems, they happen at night, between 10 p.m. and around 4 a.m. It's like this quiet lab inside you. Dim light, no noise, no outside interruptions. Just you and the processes nature designed. And I've noticed, if I fall asleep at 10 and wake up at 4, the whole day flows. It feels light and calm, like I'm in the zone. My face looks fresh, my mind is clear, and time seems to stretch. I have enough of it for everything, even for myself. But if I fall asleep at midnight and wake up at 7 or 8, it all looks fine on the outside, but inside, feels off. The puzzle doesn't click, though I get it. It's not always possible. Some people have little kids. Some work late. Some come alive at midnight and want to write, create, dream. I get it. I go through this myself all the time. I can't say I've mastered the perfect rhythm, but at least I'm moving toward it. At least I'm trying to shift. Because if I really want to live a full life until I'm 110, to truly live, not just survive, then I need to give my body a chance. It's my long-term investment in myself, in my health. You know, sometimes I literally sit down and talk to myself. I ask, what will happen to me if I don't start getting enough sleep? And the answer comes right away. Nothing will happen, because without sleep, everything starts falling apart. First your mood, then your body, immune system, hormones, digestion, breathing. Even eyesight can suffer. And then comes the avalanche. One thing breaks after another, and suddenly you don't even know what's happening to you. At one point, I figured this out for myself. The most honest way to understand what's going on with you is to ask just one question. What won't happen if I don't sleep properly? Not what will happen, but exactly what won't. And when you start answering that question, it suddenly gets very quiet, because the answer is everything. Nothing will happen. No health, no ease, no inspiration, no real connection to your body, no true joy from simple things. It's all a chain reaction. If you don't sleep, you have no energy. And if you have no energy, everything else starts to fall apart, physically and emotionally. My friends often come to me, tired, anxious, their bodies aching, feeling heavy. And I often say something that may not sound fancy. Sweetheart, just try getting some sleep. Don't sigh. Don't fight with yourself. Don't make plans. Just lie down and fall asleep early. Sometimes they think I'm being sarcastic. But the truth is, when you're going to bed at 3 a.m. and getting up at 8 or 9, you're living off scraps. And whatever you're trying to do, it's like pouring gas into a broken car, hoping it'll run like new. It won't. It doesn't need gas. It needs the shop. It needs real maintenance. It needs to be fixed, piece by piece. And sleep, that's the workshop you go to for repairs. Imagine you're driving a race car, and the engine's overheating, the tires are worn down, gas is running out, everything's creaking, and you won't stop. Because hey, it's a race, right? Well, sleep, that's your pit stop, and not just a pause, but the one that decides whether you'll make it to the finish line at all. And if you do stop, even just for one night, even just as an experiment, and actually sleep, without scrolling your phone, without guilt or beating yourself up, morning will surprise you. You'll wake up feeling like something inside shifted. Not forever, no, but it's like the first brick was laid in the foundation of your new self, the one who's not living on the edge, but living in tune with herself. There was a time I decided to just observe myself, and I started a journal. I wrote everything in it. What time I went to bed, when I woke up, how I felt, my mood, my thoughts, what I felt in the morning, every single day. I just watched myself. It lasted almost a month. And here's what I saw. Every time I fell asleep after midnight, especially around 1 a.m., my energy the next morning never got higher than a 6 out of 10. And my mood, well, it was okay. Not terrible. Just okay. Bland. Like eating plain oatmeal with no salt. But if I managed to go to bed before 10, it didn't happen every time. But when it did, my energy shot up to at least an 8. Sometimes even higher. And the mood, it was different. Not fireworks, you love clinking dishes in the kitchen. Calm, happy, soulful. I was honestly surprised how something so small could change the way I felt. I wasn't even trying to prove anything to myself. Funny thing is, even after tracking all that, even seeing the difference in black and white, I still didn't fully switch to the right rhythm. Not because I didn't want to, but because life is messy. Live streams, work meetings, flights, errands, family, all the urgent stuff. That's just real life. But at least now I know where I want to go. At least now I choose the direction on purpose. I'm almost 40, and you know how I feel that. Not by wrinkles, not by what my passport says, but by the honesty inside me. I used to get by on hype, youth, that it'll be fine attitude. But now it's different. Now I feel the cost of every choice I make. If I didn't sleep, game over. The whole day goes gray. No focus, no lightness. Everything's irritating. And the worst part, I can't be myself. I can't be the one who loves, the one who's joyful, the one who feels the world with her skin. Because when I haven't slept, it's like the sounds and colors get dimmed. It all turns black and white, and something inside starts buzzing, like an old TV screen. On days like that, even kind words don't reach me. It's like everything's behind glass. People say nice things, invite you places, offer you something, and you sit there like you're in a shell. Because your body's in survival mode. It's not listening, it's protecting, and you don't even notice how the day slips away. One day, then another, then 5, and suddenly you realize you've lost a little life, and there aren't that many little lives left to throw away. I'm not being dramatic. I'm just saying what I feel. We don't have that many days. Not in the we're all gonna die soon way. No. I mean, how many real, full, lived-through days do we actually give ourselves? The kind of days that leave a taste behind, a lingering scent, a trace. I realized one thing. One day, when I'm rested, when I'm grounded, when I'm in my body, it's worth 10 of those autopilot days. So I don't want to waste any more. I want to be present where I live, right here in this body, in this room, in this moment. And you know that feeling when people say they've overslept, like when you wake up already tired and groggy. And maybe this will surprise you, but for me, that feeling doesn't even exist. Because if your body still wants to sleep after waking up, it didn't rest, even while sleeping. That's not sleep anymore. That's escaping. Like your mind slipping into a fog, just so it doesn't have to see, or feel, or face anything. It's kind of like that childhood game, when you pull a blanket over your head and pretend the world doesn't exist. Only we're not kids anymore, and adult stuff doesn't go away that easily. If you wake up and can't get out of bed, it's not laziness. It's your body crying out. A very quiet, very important cry. Because sometimes it's not that you don't want to get up because you're tired. Sometimes your body just checks out into endless sleep because being awake in this world has become too heavy, not even physically, but in your soul. Like every new day isn't an opportunity, it's a burden. And that's not about schedules anymore. That's about the fact that you've been walking in the wrong direction for too long. Not your path, maybe not even your shoes. Someone else's road, someone else's expectations. And every step, like a tiny betrayal of yourself. Quiet, almost invisible, just always. I have to. But where's the part that's for you, in that have to, and then staying asleep as long as possible? That's your body's way of saying, I can't do this anymore. But you don't hear it. You just get mad. I didn't get up again, didn't manage again, let everyone down again. But that's not weakness. That's a symptom, like a bruise that hurts when you press it. because you have to, but because you want to. Because the day isn't your enemy, it's an invitation. Waking up isn't the alarm clock, it's meeting yourself. At some point, I realized that insomnia isn't about bad habits. It's a way to run from the silence, because silence is brutally honest. In it, you can hear everything: the exhaustion, the hurt, the anxiety, the emptiness you try to cover up during the day. When the lights are on, you can pretend everything's fine. But when the lights go out, when the phone stops buzzing, when no one needs anything from you, that's when the meeting begins, with your real self. And if there's pain inside, you don't want that meeting, so you keep yourself up until 3 or 4 in the morning, watching shows, scrolling Instagram, or just sitting in the dark, just so you don't have to lie down, because lying down means being alone with yourself, and that feels unbearable, like something's pulling you under, and you don't know if you'll resurface, so you don't sleep, and then you can't wake up, and it just loops. But one day, I felt so bad, I just couldn't keep going. I lay down, without my phone. I just lay there, like I gave up, and I fell asleep. And when I woke up, I was different. Not because everything magically changed, but because suddenly I felt I exist. My body exists. It's warm, it's alive, it's tired, but it's grateful. It's not my enemy. It's not sabotaging me. It's been calling me all along. I just didn't hear it. Since then, I've started learning to say no. No to that 10 p.m. phone call. No to another project that has to get done right now. No, because I matter. My daughter matters. My morning matters. My mood. My smile. And if I lose all that because I pushed again till late at night, then I've betrayed myself again, and I'm tired of that. Yeah, it was awkward at first, embarrassing, like I was letting people down, but then it felt free, like I chose myself for the first time in my life. You know, I'm not a sleep expert. I'm not a doctor. I'm not even consistent. Sometimes I still mess up. Sometimes I fall back into old habits. But now I can see where that road goes. And even if I take a wrong turn again, I know how to come back. Because I have a compass, a point of peace I can fall into and rise again. And that's sleep. I don't believe you can be happy without sleeping. I don't believe you can be healthy while ignoring your body. I don't believe you can be energized when every morning starts with guilt, heaviness, and exhaustion. It all starts here, with how you meet the new day, with whether you're waking up in your life or still living in a dream. Sometimes I think our body is the last thing still willing to love us, even when we've already given up on ourselves. It's patient. It holds on. It sends signals, first softly, then louder. First a yawn, then a migraine. Then it breaks down into something more serious, because there's no other way to get through. So many times I've listened to my friends talk about how tired they are, how anxious, how empty, how it all feels like it's falling apart. And every time we start untangling the mess, it always comes down to one thing: sleep. Or rather, the lack of it. Or the kind of sleep that's torn up like an old sheet. Or too late, too short, too restless. And I'd look at them, and in each one, I'd see myself. The one who tries to power through until she breaks, because you can't carry everything. That's when I stopped playing the just hang in there game. And you know what else I noticed? When I went to bed after midnight, the morning never really started. It was like the day didn't even begin, just a dull stretch, and that's it. But when I managed to go to sleep at 10 or 11 p.m., I felt like I plugged back into life. My energy didn't come from coffee. It just poured out from inside, like light under the skin. But if I didn't sleep well, if I tossed and turned till 2, if everything got off track again, I burned through the next day. It would be blurry, stressful, But somehow it wasn't. No spark, no calm, no joy. So yeah, I believe this. Every well-rested day is a day you didn't lose. A day where you can love, create, connect, laugh, dream. A day where you're not just surviving, but living, fully, truly. Too often, we end up on the wrong path, working jobs we don't love, living out other people's expectations. And at some point, our body just says, I can't anymore. And it lies down, and it sleeps. Because staying awake hurts. Because waking up is scary. I won't tell you to pull yourself together. I'll say, start small. Start by saying no. Let that be your first step. Say no to what's breaking you down, to what's not your way. Even if you don't know where your way is just yet, just stop. Sometimes that's the bravest thing we can do. Your body, it's not a bottomless battery. It has limits, and only you can take care of it. Because through your body, you live, you work, you think, you earn, you love, you raise kids, you hug, you laugh, you spend time with those who matter. Everything, through it. And if you're not giving your body the most basic thing, real rest through sleep, then what kind of success can you have? What will it even be built on? Well, that's it for now. Thanks for staying with me till the end. Please write in the comments what you think